want to Patreon subscribers. So we'll start at the dollar Swiss, really because we should be falling on the sentiment. You know, we're 74.6% long, so it's definitely a sell at the big picture. And what you want to be ideally doing is get the sentiment to agree with your pivot. So your monthly pivot is at 92.18. You can look for a short to target the ATR short. It's a 74 pip move, and you could probably have like a 20 pip stop. So wait for the monthly pivot to breach. You could wait for a new hour, potentially 20 pip stop, and then you're looking for a 70 pip TP. So it could be a good 3R trade there. 20 pip stop, 70 pip TP, or even a 60 pip. You know, here might be better. So that's a trade scenario. Your weekly open there. We are a sell, below the monthly pivots, confirming the fact that we're a sell, and then you target, you know, near the ATR short level. So, you know, we should be falling in speech marks, okay? Gold. And so we made those buy candles. Well, we made some here, which is of note. So we should really be above 1843, which we are just. And we should kind of be above there as well. Yeah, this candle. So we've got buying pressure here, a little bit of selling, lots of buying. So those buying has superseded the sellers. Okay, so you know we can create one here, and we can create one here as well. Here, this one and that one. So what I'm going to do is get rid of those objects actually. Delete. We can create some buy boxes now, because you know these are still relevant, but we're more interested in what's happened recently, especially with this this setup. The profitable traders are long, okay, but however the big picture there is a sell. But you know, you want to probably be keeping an eye on these guys, and maybe the better volumes as well. So we can insert shape rectangle, and we can definitely map this one, and well, we could do the one there as well, I guess. But you know, you get the idea anyway. So they went long slightly. FX blue. How are we looking? So they sold it quite aggressively. See, we made the bearish move as they were going long, and then they think it's going to continue, so they sell it. So they're always behind. You know, they went long as it was falling, and then I guess they figured, right, we're going to continue to fall. This price action is really horrible, and I'm going to sell it here. They sold it at the lows, and we come down, and of course by selling it, price comes up. So SLC 1850. You know, it kind of maps to the 1843 support. So yeah, we're above that level. So above that level is fairly decent. You probably could look for a long with a stop there, but I was just saying in the Discord, it's quite a wide stop now. And even on a micro lot, even on like the smallest size, that could still be quite expensive. But you know, we made a buy. Be careful, they're going slightly long. You know how counter trend these guys are, especially on that move. So if they do continue to go long, then we'll come down to test the support. We'll come back to majors. We've got some high severity data from Australia, the Eurozone and US, UK, and we've got CPI from Canada tomorrow. So be really careful, and we'll just have to be careful with the trade of the day. We'll have one tomorrow, but it might just go awry. This is going okay. If this comes up, it's going to help our trade of the day. One above is large. You can see the amount of liquidity above, 69.20. One below is at 68.79. They've sold it. By selling it, it should price higher. All that liquidity, all those stops, and it's just really cruel, isn't it? And don't forget, you can go back in time as well. You can see how things. You can see how the stops would get raided. Right. So let's have a look. It's really horrible. So these falls, these declines are naughty. Right. So I guess we're probably okay. We can do that. We can go to the close, Friday's close. Go forward in time. Now what we're looking for are these blue bars, and they're going to get destroyed. They're going to get absorbed. These are stops, okay? Forward, forward, forward. and note where price is. You know, you're looking at that crosshair, that red bitmap thing. I'll be calm. Let's just take no stops. I'll be calm. And what do you think is going to happen? Will we continue to take stops? Probably. And you know, they've sold it, so that's the driver for the move, and that's why we're going to come up and take their stops. HR target long is at monthly pivot, so a good TP. It's a good place to exit and reduce your risk, and that's possibly where we're going to get to. So we'll come back to this tomorrow and see if we know what's going to happen here. It could be just it wants that humongous stop loss cluster potentially for today, and then we might come up and rally for the RBA minutes or the PMI, and you know, they have sold it. So that's the driver. You got your targets. You don't know why things are going up and why things are going down. It's because it's liquidity probes. Okay, it's nothing to do with Elliott waves or anything like that. It's all stop hunt. Okay, so you can spend time learning Elliott wave, but it's kind of bogus because it doesn't tell you the narrative. It gives you, that's a psychological driver for the move, and that's it. EU. I know people make money on the Elliott waves, but it's not really anything to do with it. It's emotive drivers. We're talking about, you know, we're dealing with human beings, and how you know, the big fish want to destroy and take their money. 107.25 and one below is at 106.70. There's your weekly open. So target SLC. Above monthly pivot, you target HR long. Right. So you know, you've got your targets, near-term targets, medium-term target, and then perhaps if you've got a very long-term bias, MR1. It's not. I suppose we haven't got that much left to February now, have we? We probably not going to be able to do that. We are ranging. That's the thing we've got to remember. The euro, we are within this chart sideways channel, so I don't think we're going to come up to MR1. It's way too far, unless they really sold it, which it looks like they're not. Kind of undecided. Let's look at GU because we've got that PMI. We had the retail sales beat last week, so that was good for the pound. There's talk about Boris Johnson coming back, and he's going to make he's going to try and oust our current Prime Minister. So that'll be interesting. 120.75. One below is at 1.2, and Nicola Sturgeon has left, and she was very pro Scottish referendum. And now, if the next Scottish First Minister, isn't so it's not so for a Scottish referendum, that's going to be good for the pound as well. The fact that Scotland would separate from the UK would be a humongous consequence for the UK and for the economy of the UK. The reason for it is that Scotland has got lots of oil, and that's the huge, you know, it's a money maker for the UK basically. So there's your levels, and weekly open, target SLC. Below the weekly open, you target the SLC. It's only a 14 pip move, so you probably would want to wait for that to get lower, and whether or not you want to risk a 15 pip stop for a 15 pip TP. So it's a 1R trade, you know, but that's what you could do potentially. So a little bit of drivers, little bit of narrative there. We have got a double top, you'll know, as well, so obviously that's going to be quite key. Resistance there, and then we can look at we'll look at dollar CAD because we've got the CPI tomorrow. CAD crosses are going to be a bit bonkers, and so the one above is at 135.40, one below is at 1.344. Weekly open, target the SLC. Above the weekly open, target SLC. Below the monthly pivot, target HR, target short. So that's a 60 pip move. That's possible. It's possible we're going to do that. We're going to breach monthly pivot and we're going to target HR short. It all depends on the CPI from Canada. So it's a big day for this particular pair tomorrow because we've got the PMI from the States as well. And then lastly, dollar yen. Now we have really exceeded the HR from last week. This was a big old pump, and you've got to be careful about fighting this because the yields were pumping last week. All right, so you probably find that you were selling it, but it's really aggressively moving against you. You do need to keep an eye on your treasuries. Okay, it's really important. Don't just trade this on its own. You want to be looking at the macro picture and the fundamentals, and so you just look at the US yields here. Right, so they're falling. The red, because they're red, it should hinder the US dollar yen and USD pairs. Let's go back to where we were. And so there's a weekly open. So target SLC, it's a 26 pip move, and that's a 48 pip move. So they might move their stops lower potentially. You can see how they've got their stops here. So that liquidity there, and so potentially down to HR target short, and then you've got an HR target long up here, which is possible. It depends what happens with the yields, but I think what's going to happen is that we're going to breach the VIX, we're going to breach the 20 handle, and then we're going to pump. This is going to go below 20 for New York, and then we'll pump into the close, because tomorrow is going to be very choppy and uncertain, so they might just want a rally on indices today in preparation for tomorrow, and it could be like a nice TP as well for the big fish. So be really careful. Remember what I said about the yields and trading dollar yen. Don't trade it on its own. You've got to be looking at the other fundamental drivers for it. And I don't mean any disrespect to any Elliott wave guys out there, but you know, the order book's incredibly more powerful, in my opinion, because it tells you targets and why things are moving, and not just you know, you're looking at wave counts. It doesn't make any sense, really. But, you know, you've got your narrative and the drive and the psychology behind the moves, and you've got your targets from the HR target long and the SLCs. The SLC is stop loss cluster, in case you didn't know. So be back tomorrow. Got a busy day. Well, got a busy week, and busy 2 weeks, in fact, because I'm house hunting. So I'll speak to you guys soon. Remember to trade safely. Remember to check other things, you know, VIX and indices and US yields as well. And we've got a busy day tomorrow, so be careful.